Okay, guys, let's get started. I'm going to talk today about organizing your calendar and your to-do list and what I do and what works for me. So it may work for you, it may not, but hopefully you can grab a few tips and pointers. And I'm going to actually show you my calendar and share my screen so you guys can really see that. So before we get started, I want to talk really quick about events. So getting to events is really super important. So being surrounded by other coaches in this community at a live event is really going to inspire you and get your business moving. And it's also a great opportunity to take your friends and family to help them see what this opportunity is all about. So events are a really big deal, and you need to get to them. So we've talked a ton about Summit on the team page. Summit is our annual conference that's in June, right? So Summit is the big daddy, Mac Daddy of them all that you all should be at. I understand that it's in the summer, there's a lot going on, and that it's expensive. So I totally get that. We try and work together as a team to bring the cost down, like we share rooms so that we can all make it out there. So really give Summit some thought and look at it as an investment in your business. And remember that the Summit expenses are all write-offs in your business, okay? But if you can't get to Summit, you really need to be getting to Super Saturdays. So Super Saturdays are really super affordable. They're usually only $5 or $10, and a Super Saturday is an event that local coaches put on all across the United States and Canada. So there should be a Super Saturday close to you. The next Super Saturday is April 12th, I believe. Is that a Saturday? Yes, April 12th. Okay, so April 12th is a Saturday. That's when the next Super Saturday is. And the best way to check if you've got one in your area is to go to the Coach Online office, and then under news and training, there should be a section for events, and you should be able to look at Super Saturday events there. So definitely want to get to a Super Saturday. If you have to drive a couple hours, do it. It's so worth it to just connect with other coaches in your area, find some people to carpool with, and get to Super Saturday. Big deal. Okay, and then lastly, I just want to make sure that everybody is using the GSR process. So just a reminder that when you sign up new coaches on your team, please be using the GSR process, sending them the GSR email, and having that GSR call with them. Okay, cool. So let's get started on the good stuff, on getting organized. I really try to be organized, but I'm not perfect. There are some days when my life is a total disaster, but I really try and use my calendar to kind of hone it in. I'm just like everybody else, where I will literally find myself scrolling through the newsfeed and be like, Sarah, get your shit together. And what are you supposed to be doing right now? Like, what are focus, right? Like, we all have those moments. So what I love about my system that works for me is that I can say, okay, what am I supposed to be doing right now? And I can go back to that task list or to my calendar and say, what am I supposed to be doing? Because it sucks me in, it sucks us all in, right? Like, all of this just nonsense that we shouldn't even be focusing on. And don't get me wrong, the news feed can be helpful for your business, but it should be one of those things that you do after everything else is done. Like after you've gotten your invites out, after you've done your follow-ups, after you've checked on your challenge groups, right? So here's how I do it, and I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So let's see if I can pull this up. Okay, can you guys see my calendar? You can just nod yes. Okay, cool. So this is my Google Calendar. So when you log into Google, I use Google for everything, you guys. So when you log into Google, if you see this like little apps thing over here on the side, you can click it and you can open up Google Calendar right here. Do you see this thing that has the 31? So that's how I get here for Google Calendar. And this syncs, like Google Calendar updates like instantly. So you can access Google Calendar on your phone, on your computer, wherever. So this is my calendar. I have some reoccurring meetings that go on. As you can see here, like the ones that are shaded lighter have already happened, right? So I've got some different types of categories. So you can see here, I just have some categories in terms of like, one-on-one calls, like IAN calls, just some personal stuff. My tasks are purple. Training, like when I schedule my workouts, like all that stuff, work, okay, all that good stuff. So here's how I do it. So I schedule all of my calls. So you want to make sure that you're scheduling the big stuff first. So I'm going to switch back to me really quick so you guys can focus on what I'm saying. So I want you to schedule the big stuff first. So what is big to you? So the big stuff should be like, obviously, like a lot of you guys aren't doing Beachbody full time. So big stuff should be like your work stuff, like what's most important, like with work, right? And then obviously it's your family. So spending time with your family is really big stuff, like that stuff. And I know that's weird to schedule on a calendar, but it's really nice to have it there when we're so busy and we're doing so many things. So it's nice to have that family time scheduled and just say, if nighttime is your time for family time, then schedule it. But when it comes to Beachbody, your Beachbody stuff, I think that it's really super important that you focus on the different type of activities for Beachbody. So this is kind of how I do mine. I schedule, first and foremost, every day I have 2 hours during my day where I'm answering messages, and they're split up. So my first one is from 9 to 10 in the morning, and then from 1 to 2 in the afternoon. That's pretty consistent on most days. I think I can usually fit that in on most days. So I schedule that in, and that's reoccurring. And that is because this thing right here, no matter what I do, I could chuck it out the window, and I swear to God, I'm still going to be looking for it like a chicken with my head cut off. Like, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Where's my phone? Right? Like, don't you guys feel like that? Like, it's like crazy. It's like addiction. So, and I'm not perfect at this, but when I am not checking my messages, I really try and turn my phone off and put it away so that I can focus on some other stuff that I need to do. Like if I'm working on a project for the team, or if I'm like in Rock the Basics and checking in on my challenge groups or whatever, I don't want to be interrupted, because once you're interrupted and you check this phone, then you're checking other things. Then all of a sudden you're on Instagram, and then all of a sudden you're in the Facebook newsfeed, and it's an hour later and you're like, what just happened, right? What am I doing? So when you're not interrupted and you're focused, I feel like you get a lot more done. So I set aside specific time just for answering messages. Okay, I also set aside time for team calls. So that's really important to get your team call scheduled. So obviously this weekly team call, the national coach call is a really good one to schedule, Mondays at 11 a.m. Eastern time. Any other like team calls that you're a part of, or anything else that you want to be on. So schedule those in and get those set in your calendar. Okay. Another big one for the Beachbody business that I schedule in is my recruiting time. So like my networking and recruiting. So a lot of us spend a lot of time just talking to people, and we feel like maybe sometimes that's like we're not like getting anything done, but we really are, because networking and recruiting and forming and getting to know people is a really, really big part of this business. And we all know that it takes time. So we've got to put that time on our calendar. So like for me, I try and do like an hour to 2 hours a day of networking and recruiting. I put that on my calendar. And then, of course, I schedule like things like GSRs, when I have a new coach, like I'm putting that on my calendar, of course. Another thing that you could do, and I don't do this, but you could do, is like to-do list time. So here's an hour each day that I'm going to work on my to-do list, like mark off all those things. Or maybe you put in your calendar housework or whatever, just to kind of keep you on a schedule. We all know that you're not going to be perfect with your calendar, but when you have that moment of what am I supposed to be doing right now, when you catch yourself doing, in the news feed or just doing mindless things, you can grab a hold of that calendar and say, okay, I need to be doing this. So I'm going to share my calendar again with you guys. Okay, hold on. I don't know why it's not. Okay, hold on. I think I got it. Here we go. Okay, so here's my calendar again. So I just want to show you guys. So if you see here, like I've got answer messages, answer messages, answer messages, answer messages, 9 to 10 every morning, except on Thursdays because I go to yoga on Thursdays. I've got answer messages from 1 to 2 every day. Challenge group check-in is something that I put in my calendar. Thursday is my day for paying bills and going through my business expenses and doing all that stuff. So I put time on my calendar for that every Thursday. Here's the big one though. This is the one that I really want to talk to you guys about, which is the task list. So this has been really super helpful for me. And I do my task list where there's open spots. So from 9 to 10 is an open, like I answer my messages, but then maybe at 10 o'clock, maybe I start working on my task list. So you can see it's Wednesday and I still have 6 things to do. There's no way I'm going to get all that done today. So we'll talk about how to evaluate your day and move things, but I just want to show you guys how to create a task list. So when you're in Google Calendar, you can click on this open space here. It may look more like something more like this where you don't have a ton of stuff on the top. But anyways, if you click here, it's going to ask you to put in some new stuff. And you see here how it gives you the choice for event or task. Event is obviously going to be something that you're scheduling in your calendar and you can put a time on it. But a task is something that's like a to-do list item. So I always give myself a task like, if I want to, go to the post office. I'm at the post office a couple times a week. Usually I end up sending Adam, but, I need to go to the post office tomorrow. So I'm going to create that task, right? And I'm going to put that there. And it shows right here on 3/13, so for tomorrow. Okay, but let's say this. So one of my things for today that I did was Rock the Basics gifts. So I send gifts to all of the people that graduate the Rock the Basics that I run. So I already ordered the gifts that I wanted to send them. I usually do a personal development book, so I ordered those books today. So I can check that off. You see how I can check that off there? Or I can go in and I can just change the name of it and I can just say, send Rock the Basics gifts out. And I would like to do that before we go on the cruise in a couple weeks. So I'm going to pen that. You can change the date here. And I'm going to put that for Friday the 21st. So now it gets moved from the 12th, and then I can just hit close. And now when I go over to Friday the 21st, there it is. Okay. Let's see what else is in here. So like another one, like email coach prospects about the business opportunity. So I'm doing a business opportunity webinar tomorrow night, and I've got a list of people that are my coach prospects. So I'm going to make sure that I send them an email with the link to my webinar. So I'm going to probably do that tonight. I do it via MailChimp. So when I do that, I'll just cross it off, right? And there's an action down here, an action item that says action, clear completed tasks. Can you guys see that in there? Okay. But another great thing that you can also do, and this happens to me a lot, there's a lot of things that I just keep throwing over. So like this one will probably get moved over. This one might get moved over. So you see how you can drag and drop? You can drag and drop. So at the end of the day, like right about this time, I try and evaluate my day around, let's say, I'm going to stop the share. So I try and evaluate my day around 5 or 6. So I try and reflect and I try and journal on my day around 6 o'clock. That's scheduled in my calendar. And what I do is I look at all the to-do list items that I still haven't finished, and I reassign them. Like, how important is it really for me to get this done this week? If it doesn't need to get done this week, I'm going to move it to next week. Okay, so I think that that's really important to kind of get a handle on getting organized with your task list. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I used to literally have a Post-it note here and a notebook here, and 3 notebooks in my purse that all had stuff. That just wasn't really working for me. So, so I feel like, hold on, let me just mute you guys really quick. So, you know, I really just feel like for me, this has really helped organize me. I'm definitely not perfect with everything, but it's helped a lot. So I wanted to show you guys too, you can get to this stuff on your iPhone or your phone. So I have an iPhone, so I'm just going to talk about the iPhone and how I get this on my iPhone. If you go to Safari, you can't do it in Chrome. I usually use Chrome on my iPhone, but if you have Safari on your phone, which they all come with Safari, you can actually go to Google Calendar. Like, it's not an app in the App Store, but if you go to Google Calendar on like Safari, you can actually click on that one thing that says add to home screen, and it looks like an app. So I have my Google Calendar on my phone, and I have my task list on my phone. And I went to Google Tasks, and I just clicked add to home screen, and it looks like, and I'll show you guys, I don't know if you can see this, but it's at the very bottom, Google Calendar and Google Tasks. And one thing that I do is I don't have like my messages or my email on the bottom there, because I try not to like let that stuff like come up, you know, like I try not to have that stuff like alert me a lot. And my phone is always on silent. Like I was saying, like I always keep my phone on silent or do not disturb, just because if it was constantly going off, I would be constantly interrupted. But a lot of times I personally just have to turn it off. Otherwise I continue to look at it. So anyways, that's how I organize my stuff. I think it's really important, whatever you do, to have it all in one place. So for me, having my task list and my calendar in one place, like one go-to spot for me, has really, really seriously helped me get organized. So yeah, so do you guys have any questions or anything that you want to ask about this? No? Okay. Awesome. Well, hopefully that helped. Hopefully that gave you some good ideas, or got you thinking. Maybe you can try some new things. I definitely encourage you to try it, see how you like it for a couple weeks, especially if what you're doing right now is not working. I've tried many different things, and this seems to really work the best for me. So give it a shot, see what you think. Let me know. Yeah, were you going to say something?
Yeah, how did you get the tasks on your phone? I see how you got the calendar, but how do you get the tasks, the little task tab?
Yeah, so if you go to Safari, you should be able to just type in Google Tasks.
Oh, do them separate, Google Calendar, then Google Tasks.
Yeah, so like in separate windows, and then click, you know, add to home screen, and then on the next one, add to home screen. And then they both show up as like little apps. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks.
Yeah, sure. The one thing about the tasks on your phone, though, is that it doesn't seem to organize it by day. So what I use my phone for most for the tasks is if I'm out and about and I'm like, oh, I got to do this, I really quickly type it in my task list. And then when I get home and I'm sitting at my computer, then I assign a date to it, you know, but it's just something, like you guys can see here, well, like there's a list on the side, like on your Google Calendar, there's a list of all the tasks on the right-hand side, and they're organized by date, but at the very bottom, there's things that say no due date. So I try and check that like every couple days, just to like remind myself if I put something there that I haven't set a date for yet. So yeah. Anyways, if there's anything else, let me know. Speak up. If not, I'll let you guys go. Thanks for being on, and hope that helped. Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. See you guys. Have a great night.